is a damn fine cup of coffee. Diane, I take this note not as a form of posterity, not as a reminder of my own success, and certainly not as a statement of my confusion. I take this note to you as a symbol for the realization of others that if they were to find this tape or such a tape, it would help them to rest. Like the sky on a moonless night, to sleep, perchance to dream. It was one of Gordon's blue rose cases. We'd been called to a beach in Northern California. There had been a murder. At first it looked like a typical overdose. A young woman in her early 20s, dead, washed up on the shore. A sound. That sound was something that recurred throughout the investigation. We'd been called in because several unusual items had been discovered at the scene of the crime, indicating that perhaps there could be a cause for federal involvement. The items were a heroin needle used, the traces on it led back to a cartel who had been operating cross-border, a silver spoon, the provenance of which was unknown, and two exquisite shells. I remember considering at the time that such shells had a nostalgia to them, Diane. An almost automatic memory associated with them. As holding a conch to your ear to recreate the sound of the sea lapping at the shore. Such shells were indicative of more innocent times. Times when one could explore beaches, pick up crabs from the rock pools, or hide behind the dunes. Eventually we calculated that the heroin was being shipped from a nearby location. I remember, as we approached the supposed location, I again heard what's more, and this was the most unusual element, there was a sense of electricity in the air, Diane. An unknowable electricity. We proceeded to the location as advised, full tactical. Upon breaching, we found that there was nobody there. We investigated a little further and found what looked to be the paraphernalia used to produce heroin. There were cages, lines and rows of cages against the wall in the middle of the room, everywhere. It was impossible at the time to calculate what these cages could be used for or discern their purpose in any way. All we knew at this stage was that from this specific location there was a batch of heroin being sold that was bad, that was causing people to die. We looked around for more evidence, eventually finding the address of an animal wrangler who lived, again, nearby. My partner and I, we decided to head to the hotel for some food. We had some very good cherry pie, as well as some excellent coffee. In the morning, we hit the road. When we got to the animal wrangler's address, something was off. There was that strange sense of electricity in the air again, as well as that recurring. We knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. An old man in his 50s answered. We explained that we were special agents operating on behalf of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, looking into local deaths involving the use of heroin. The man became belligerent, unhelpful, and uncooperative. He said that we had no right to be investigating such a case, and furthermore, that we wouldn't understand the implications if we got any further into it. Now, as I mentioned, Diane, this was one of Gordon's Blue Rose cases. That means it has a special interest, not just for me, but for the Bureau. We didn't push the man, but we came back later that evening, and using principles from Shinto Buddhism, Namu Amida Butsu, determined that in fact the animals could be being used as mules to traffic the heroin. We ascertained this fully by requisitioning a warrant eventually and returning to the property. When we approached, the man was more belligerent than before. However, he acquiesced and allowed us to investigate fully. Looking around, we found a number of animals. Each animal was tagged specifically. This was unusual, especially given the nature of some of the creatures: llamas, camels, exotic animals that had no place in California, let alone in this man's house. And so we proceeded to question the man. Attempting to discover not only what were these animals used for, but where they were being sent, and who to. Well, Diane, I don't think anything could have prepared us for what was about to happen next. Based on the tip from the old man, we visited another location that was implicated in the spread of these drugs. We didn't wait to knock and be polite on this one. Upon breaching the building, we discovered that there were no people there. However, there was a bear. Now, the bear took a number of shots to subdue. Having never fought a bear before, I was surprised by simply how many bullets were required to make it immobile. We had the blood taken to the lab to be tested, and it turned out that there was nothing in the bear, and it hadn't been used as a mule. However, what we discovered was that there was an unusually low amount of blood in the bear. What we later discovered was that people had been mixing fermented animal blood with the heroin. Some kind of hoodoo or voodoo that was beyond comprehension. However, this didn't stop us investigating further. Eventually, Diane, I met a man. That man opened my eyes to a world that perhaps I had not considered before. A world beyond the realm of understanding, beyond the construct of time, place, and things. A world of electricity. This world was invisible, much like electricity, only showing when required. only showing when desired. At the time, I did not know, but the shaman who I met would become a yogi to me, teach me things that I had not known before, as well as being instrumental in the case. A sleep ritual involving shells and a silver spoon. The sleep ritual was thus: scrape the spoon onto the shells. And chant a relaxing machination to aid you in going to sleep. The mantra was thus: electricity. Imagine it buzzing through your body. Ground yourself. Feel the power surge through your limbs, through your toes, through your feet. The power moves up, gently, buzzing around your thighs. It encompasses your waist, helping you to relax, helping you to sit, helping you to feel grounded and one with the floor. As the energy hugs your diaphragm and squeezes comfortably like a weighted blanket, it moves up to your chest. Instead of contracting it, it releases it, allowing you to breathe easily for the first time. The electricity weighs down on your shoulders like a heavy backpack and soothes down your arms from your biceps to your forearms to your wrists to the tips of your fingers. Finally, like a shawl made of silk, the electricity rests upon your head. It covers your eyes, makes your eyelids heavy, covers your mouth, loosens your jaw, and allows your nose to relax, and your ears to shut out any sounds. And like that, the electricity stops. Diane, I would be lying if I said that this was not the most important part of this case for me. True, meeting the shaman did not help practically in any way with finding the culprit of this botched heroin, but what it did give me was the tools I required in order to better put the pieces of the puzzle together. It's true. That night in the hotel, I tried this meditative practice, and it worked. Just repeating the idea of the electricity flowing through my body, starting at my toes, moving up to my knees, my thighs, my chest, my shoulders, my hands, my head. Each element of the electricity flowing through my body helped me to sleep, helped me to relax, rest, and sleep. The shaman also taught me one other thing that I will hold dear and stay true to for the rest of my days, and that is the importance of buying yourself or giving yourself a gift every single day, just once. It doesn't have to be anything special. It doesn't have to be anything big. From a decent cup of coffee to a cherry pie. Whatever you want, give yourself one gift every single day. Eventually, following the practices of Shinto Buddhism, the teachings of this strange shaman, and good coffee, we were able to track down the perpetrators of the crime. It turned out that it was a subsection of a misappropriated group of men who had decided that mixing heroin with the fermented blood of animals was a cure-all. Unfortunately, the mixture proved to be fatal for us who use it, and we also discovered that fermented cow's blood can operate as a keen weapon to dispel of enemies, if so desired. Diane, this seems like a mismatch of a tale. On the one part, it is about an investigation. On the other part, it is about relaxation. But the ultimate investigation is that of ourselves, to better understand the cosmos and also what lies within, to permeate our own thoughts, to dissect and analyze our own dreams, and to sleep, perchance to dream. Damn good coffee.